So this video is going to be interesting. This is Erika Kirk talking about the conspiracy theories around Charlie Kirk's assassination. And basically, I'm going to spoil it a bit before we watch the clip because it's like she really doesn't address that at all. But let's watch this and you tell me.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
Okay, before you mention it, because I know that you're going to mention that in the comments, yeah, she is doing what usually this pageant experienced women in the pageant industry do. She's barely touching her eyes so her makeup doesn't make a mess out of that. So I'm going to give her a pass on that. So many of you telling me in the comments over and over again about her fake tears over and over again. Believe me, I have like a PhD in fake tears, and I could give Erika Kirk a pass on that one. That is not the topic of this video, but we can address that in a dedicated, maybe a short, because it's very simple. But I want to address the way that she answers this question, like this.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died and became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart and I need to be there for my kids.
Okay, the first part of the answer, I think she was preparing to answer the question, but what she said could have applied to basically anything. How did you react to Charlie Kirk's assassination? Okay, I insulated myself. My phone became a black hole. I needed to focus on my kids, right? How did a Turning Point manage this with you? No, I insulated myself. I just dedicated myself to the kids, which, by the way, well, it was not that true. She had to deal with a lot of TPUSA stuff. Okay, let's move on.
I need to be there for Turning Point.
I needed to be there for Turning Point. I forgot to add that clip.
And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen?
Everyone grieves differently. That is something that people who have defended Erika Kirk, I have said those words myself in my videos. Everybody grieves in different ways, and we can't possibly know what is she feeling, how can she react, and it's like a damn if you do, damn if you don't. That is something that happens in many instances, and especially this. If she disappeared, people would criticize her. If she stayed on the cameras and interviews and all stuff, people will criticize her. If she wears makeup, she will be criticized. If she doesn't wear makeup, she will be criticized as well. So it's a bit of a, there were still, questions about that hug with J.D. Vance that I explained thoroughly on one video, but we can move on.
How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation.
Okay, she's wondering a bit because, again, this is not the topic of the question.
Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day.
Okay, you know that the majority of the conspiracies obviously have been about the ones who were there that day. I think that one of the most unexplainable behaviors was from TPUSA's chief of staff, Mikey McCoy, that when I saw the videos, yeah, it really was really hard to explain his behavior. And I had to make a 3-part analysis because I just couldn't believe that myself. I just simply couldn't believe so many things that happened that day. And I think that she is asking for grace over those people. Okay, I could give, of course. Do you know what is my stance about Erika Kirk? I give her the space, the grace. I think that she is grieving. I think that I don't think for 1 minute that she was involved of all this. I think that is crazy. I think that people are really crazy again. I know the comment. I already know how the comments are gonna be, but from that to try to justify, it's like the question was directed at her. What do you think about the conspiracies? And it's like she's trying to justify the behavior of the people who were that day around Charlie. That is a bit odd. It's like she's trying to protect them in some way. She could have said, he could. I mean, I'm going to try to like play her attorney right now, her public relations director, and say what you should say to a question like that should be like, I can understand in the climate of misinformation and disinformation and AI, and she's going to mention AI a bit later, and social media, how can this happen? And she could say, I can understand that people could have any sort of conspiracies because all of them are triggered about how can this happen in our country. But you can paraphrase that, and that would be an acceptable answer about conspiracy theories. I can understand that people have all sorts of conspiracy theories because it has been so bizarre to process this, and she could talk about her own experience. I still trying to process it. I can't imagine people who have seen all the angles and all the stuff and trying to explain how can this happen in our country. How can we reach this level of political violence that led to the assassination of my husband? That's the answer. It's a very easy answer. Not criticizing her answer again. So many of you, you are making videos about. Stop making videos about Erika Kirk. Why? I'm just showing a clip and just showing what she's saying, and I think that for the most part, I'm giving her the grace that I think that she deserves. I am just saying that she is defending behavior of third parties, of other people. Okay, that's I think that was unnecessary in this answer.
They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. The ones who were around Charlie, they had to relive that. But I mean, who is the widow who was left without a husband? Whose kids were left without a father? It's like, no, it's like making all this so important for them who were right next to him. It's so hurtful for them. No. And most of them, I have to say this, most of them, if not all of them, are men. Oh, you are. Oh my God, you're so. Oh, you're so. Just so. Oh, you are so touched. I don't mean Erika Kirk. I mean the guys who were around what happened. Oh, you are so traumatized about that. Man up. This is what we are dealing with worldwide, and it happened next to you. Sadly, you have to man up. I don't think that Erika Kirk has to defend you from reliving that daily. I think that that's why this is pathetic that Erika Kirk has to say, oh, they have to relive that every day. What are you going to have to, some kind of PTSD or something? I mean, the moment, oh yeah, he was, I had him bleeding. Yeah, but he was not your husband. He was not the father of your kids. No matter in which, what did you play in that situation, the instant that you remember that Erika Kirk and Charlie Kirk's small kids, toddlers, babies, exist,
You should forget about, it doesn't matter what I felt or how traumatized I was, because I'm a man, and that's how men should behave. I don't care about that. Oh, poor you, woe is me. So this is a bad approach. She shouldn't be talking about, the ones who were around Charlie that day. That is pathetic. I have to say that. That is
He
pathetic.
didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this.
Okay, I'm going to say something because I've seen a lot of footage about Charlie Kirk's case. And I really don't remember doctor videos or footage or anything about the assassination itself. I think that precisely people want to one extent or another the truth, so people are trying to get as many raw footage as possible, which, by the way, I posed that question on another video. How come we don't have more footage with all the phones that were around Charlie Kirk that day? But I have seen a lot of AI manipulation of Erika Kirk, which I think is despicable. I've seen things that I cannot even mention, especially with the embrace with JD Vance, people making up videos and images about that were completely false, just for clicks. So, well, I can imagine that maybe if they could do that to Erika Kirk, I guess that there are videos out there that I haven't seen that are AI generated of stuff of people making crazy conspiracies online. But at the same time, they know that if they try to use AI, they will be literally obliterated with any kind of credibility. But at the same time, so many of these creators don't care about the credibility. So again, coming back, I digress. Let's watch the final part of this.
And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that.
I'm going to tell you something, Erika. And yeah, I have to be blunt in this one. I don't think that your kids, even there are crazy conspiracies out there, like insane stuff out there. I don't think your kids will be harmed by conspiracy theories that most of them are going to just go away in a matter of weeks. People are going to forget them in a matter of weeks. Maybe some of them will stand the test of time, but most of those conspiracy theories will just turn to steam. But what your kids could be harmed by is the rhetoric of the left about Charlie Kirk. That is something that can actually harm your kids in the future. How people talk about Charlie Kirk, all the vile and poisoned and the toxicity was spewed, how his words were taken out of context, how his life was taken out of context, how he was framed as this villain, Nazi, bigot, everything, which, again, is very easy to prove that he was not. So I don't think that the conspiracy theories are going to harm your children in any way. In that case, I think that you can arrest safe. It's not gonna be a problem. But again, the way that she framed this answer, I don't know. It was too much wording, and it could have been, as I told you. We can talk about people trying to process this in the way that they are trying to process, and they are upset about how could this happen. So many things. Talk about the people. Talk about the actual concern of the people, and because so many of them, So many of them, so many creators that I'm not going to mention right now, are saying that they're actually concerned that they want the truth. And you can say that some of them are just for the clicks, some of them are actually for the truth. But in one way or another, we need to defend the asking of questions. There's something that we cannot deny. If you have evidence to ask said questions, very important. If you don't have evidence to ask questions, you're just a clickbaiter. That's a reality that we can't escape. Again, this is I know that this is a sensitive topic, but I would like to know what do you think about this in the comments. And I thank you for keeping the comments civil. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.